Private Willson, having realized basic training is unabated, reveille, formation, mess call, formation, fall in fall out, cigarettes light 'em up put 'em out, double time, at ease, retreat, lights out, taps. But the concluding supposition, acquainting the instruments of war, and the final exertion, the makings of a soldier. The firing range was a learning experience, the acquired skill, a possible rehearsal for a future application for some. Once on the firing line, the command load and lock is given, in preparation required to fire the M1 Garand. Once the ammunition clip is inserted, the bolt automatically moves forward to lock around into the chamber. The next command, ready on the left, ready on the right, and then the declaration, the firing line is ready. Besides the issued M1 Garand, the company was instructed in the firing of a Browning automatic rifle, the BAR, a 19-pound 30-06, 20-round clip-fed selective fire weapon, its fire power utilized by the number 11 and number 2 man of the infantry 12-member squad. Also, the company squads were familiarized with the 32-pound, 30 caliber, 250-round belt-fed light machine gun, the cadre noting that when firing, the barrel had a tendency to move up and to the right, so you might want to compensate for this. The most impressive machine gun firepower was demonstrated by cadre, it being the M2, 50 caliber machine gun known as Mr. Deuce. A variation of this masterful weapon was adapted and found in all branches of the service. The company once again in the realm of the East Range, this time an instructional course with live grenades. A concrete barrier wall with 6 dividing concrete section, each section with a cadre instructor. Gary, having completed the instructional lessons with a dummy grenade, now was prompted to the wall. The station's NCO reviewing the procedure instructions one more time, Private Willson gripping the grenade in his right hand, noticing a 10-inch hole in the concrete floor. The sergeant supplying an answer to the unasked question, if someone drop a grenade after pulling the pin, the concrete hole was an emergency detonation place. Upon direction he pulled the pin latching the handle and in one motion slung the grenade over the concrete wall. Seconds later it wasn't the sound of the grenade exploding that impressed Gary, but the resounding concussion he could feel behind the concrete barrier. The grenade instruction continued. After experiencing a live grenade, the recruit was thankful the instructional class for the M1's grenade launcher utilized only dummy grenades. A realization of the day's activities, having a positive effect, cementing a purpose for the unit, they could apprehend that the instructors were accomplishing their mission. The nocturnal march from the company area was a first, and the young soldier found the darkened night difficult when the platoon traversed off a sufficiently defined path, onto an unrecognizable course. Gary's consolation was occupying the 4th squad, not the vanguard, although he suspected flashlights were in use at the head of the column to penetrate the total darkness. Arriving at their objective, discovering additional company units on site participating in night firing exercises. It was another first for the platoon, an aura of anticipation radiated amongst the troops. Private Willson, too, was awestruck with the sight. Tracers brandishing an illumination, their paths filling the azure with trailing plumes, streaking to the raised targets. Gary recognized the affectation of the flaring specter, the kindled showering missiles honing in on the targets, giving a presence of baneful arrays of infliction. The nighttime display exacting a scene of allurement and destruction, but on the firing range, there was no adversary, save the conviction of fulfillment. It wasn't scuttlebutt, anyone volunteering to stay and pull targets for the remaining units would receive indemnification, in place of the long march home. they would be transported back to the barracks area by transport. Gary weighing the company's trek back against a ride, knowing better than to volunteer, but deciding to invest in this new experience. Entering the concrete bunker, the odor of burnt pulverulent from expended munitions permeated the environment. The new target puller was instructed to mount and augment the targets with intention and dispatch. During the firing display, the target amending group would sanction to the rear of the bunker to avoid contact with stray ricochet bullets. Gary ascertained immediately that safety was a concern as a .30-06 projectile came to rest at his feet. He was a quick study, learning not to grasp the hot lead munition after confirming his curiosity by touch. Now defaulting to a sense of character, continuing with his task but staying vigilant. Fulfilling his commitment, the night's convention coming to a close, another experience indelibly inscribed with purpose. The memories of the night infiltration course would always remain prevalent. The soldiers' 12-man squad was again a finalist in participation, the last platoon of the last company to enter the course. This was a competition, judgment based on elapsed time to complete the course and a penalty deduction for any movement observed by searching beacons or flares. The terrain, pox-marked with pits containing detonating explosive devices, obstacles of strung barbed wire to wither under, the sound of .30 caliber machine guns firing tracers overhead, and the darkness interrupted by searchlight spotters. Doing the low crawl through the maze wasn't difficult, providing you anchor your orientation. The combat maze accomplished, the experience completed. Returning to the barracks, Private Willson noting the infiltration course was appropriately named. Never has Gary been so infiltrated with such an accumulation of obscuring dirt.